What is going on, everybody? And boy, do I have a doozy for you guys. This person right here is probably one of the most insecure, closeted fanboys I have seen in this YouTube gaming community. And with the amount of trash that's out there, that is saying a lot. I honestly couldn't believe some of the shit I was hearing in this video. Now, I'm not going to play you the video because I don't want to be held responsible for any brain cells that anyone else loses while watching this video. Now, if you guys want to go watch this video yourself and lose your own brain cells, well, that's on you. I am not going to be held responsible for that. But I will link the video in the description if you would like to do that. But, oh my god. I couldn't believe some of the shit that was said in this video. But okay. Here we have BSHADOWS Gaming. And this guy made this video talking about how he's disappointed with the gaming community and gaming in general. That he hates fanboyism. He hates the console wars. Like, as you can see on the screen here, play games, not companies. But yet his entire video was pretty much, here is why Sony is evil and why Microsoft is amazing. I shit you not. That is literally what his entire video was about. And some of the shit that he said in this video, well, you just have to see it to believe it. So I'm not going to go over every single thing that he said in the video, otherwise we'll be here all day. But I'm just going to go over the more pertinent things that he said. So, throughout the video, he keeps mentioning that people don't have logic, they don't have common sense, and they don't do their research. When in fact that he has none of that, and he hasn't done his research. Like, let's talk about research for a second. He mentions that Sony needs to bring back Star Ocean, and that Guerrilla Games were shut down. Star Ocean, there was a Star Ocean game that came out last year. Guerrilla Games is still alive and kicking. They just made a big game. You might have heard of it. It's called Horizon Zero Dawn. It came out last March. Pretty big deal. It was a pretty big hit. It's a really good game. I was kind of surprised how good it was. Yeah, Guerrilla Games. Still alive and kicking. So I don't know where the fuck he got that information from. And then he also said that Crash Bandicoot is a multiplat. When in fact, it's not a multiplat. It is a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Now, there's rumors that it might be coming out for Xbox, but once again, those are rumors. The developer isn't saying anything, nor the publisher. So as of now, it's a PlayStation exclusive. So, once again, he complains that people don't have logic and common sense and don't do the research, but yet he doesn't do it himself. Just saying. And then, of course, he says things like, the PlayStation is now at the bottom when it comes to power, when in fact it's not, because the original Xbox One is still on the market. It's the weaker console. It is weaker than the PlayStation 4. Has been since launch. And then of course you have the Nintendo Switch that just came out. That is weaker than both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. So, even though the Xbox One X, on paper, is the most powerful console on the market, I don't see how Sony's at the bottom of the barrel now when it comes to power. Because they're not. Once again, not doing your research. Didn't look up any information. And throughout the video, he uses Xbox fanboy talking points like, there's a media bias against Xbox, and Sony is struggling, they're broke, they have no money. First off, if Sony was broke, then how come they're making so much money with the PlayStation? And they're bringing all this revenue through hardware sales and software sales. The PlayStation brand is very successful. Now, Sony makes other products besides PlayStation. They have phones, they have televisions. I think they still make Walkmans. I could be wrong, I don't know. I haven't really looked at one of those in a long time. So they make other things. Now, maybe those other divisions are kind of struggling, like especially their phone division. I don't remember the last time I've seen a Sony Xperia around. But that doesn't mean Sony in general is a failure, nor does that apply to PlayStation, because the PlayStation brand And I know this ticks off Xbox fanboys. PlayStation brand is hugely successful. And it has been since day one. Sorry. It's the way that it is. And then, of course, this whole media bias against Xbox. And he doesn't understand why people have an issue with an Xbox. Well, let me tell you, buddy, why people have issues with Xbox. Now, I'm not going to go over everything, because once again, we'll be here all day. I'll go over a few things, like how about the fact that at launch, the Xbox One was $100 more than the PlayStation 4, while being weaker than the PlayStation 4. And why was it $100 more? Oh, because it came with a device that nobody wanted. It was called the Kinect. The Kinect was being forced upon people. You know, gamers didn't like that. Very anti-consumer. Oh, let's see. How about since the Xbox One was the weaker of the two consoles, the multiplats were downgraded compared to the PlayStation 4 versions. They didn't look as good. Once again, not really an incentive to buy an Xbox. Gamers didn't like that. That's why a lot of them who were big on the Xbox 360, they jumped ship to the PlayStation 4. That wasn't a coincidence. How about the fact that the Xbox literally has no exclusives? I mean, they did in the beginning, but then they started porting all their games to PC. Now, they have no exclusives at all. They really don't. And yes, if it's on PC as well as Xbox, it's not exclusive. No matter how much you fanboys want to try and twist that word exclusive, it's not exclusive. So, gamers don't like the fact that there's no exclusives for it, which is less of an incentive to buy it. If somebody already has a decent enough PC, there's literally no reason to buy an Xbox. Gamers don't like that. How about the fact that Microsoft cancels games that people were interested in, like Scalebound or Fable Legends? And instead of, bringing back franchises like Banjo-Kazooie or Conker's Bad Fur Day, other older games people want to see, they just want to make more controllers. The Elite controller, and here's some other different colored controllers. I can go on all day, but there's a lot of reasons why people aren't fond of Xbox. And people have gone into great detail about that. Now, if you lack the brain capacity to understand that or comprehend it, well, you know what? That's not really our problem, BSHADOWS Gaming. It's not our problem. So yeah, there's that. And you also mentioned several times throughout the video that Sony is constantly screwing over gamers, yet you never really give many examples why that is. I mean, you do mention two things, and I find it funny that you mention these two things. You mentioned PlayStation Now and PlayStation View. Both of those services are really irrelevant. And the funny thing is, there's actually things you could have mentioned that Sony actually has done that actually has screwed over gamers. Like, for example, raising the PlayStation Plus price for no reason. They didn't add to PlayStation Plus. They didn't enhance the service. They just woke up one day and went, you know what? We're just going to raise the price. That's it. You could have mentioned that, because that screwed over people. People didn't like that. Or how about the fact that to this day, PSN still has issues that it shouldn't have, like constant outages, and then it goes down for maintenance, unscheduled maintenance, mind you, that they don't bother to tell the gamers about. I've actually made a video ranting about that, because I got tired of turning on my PlayStation 4 and wanting to play online, and then, it's down for maintenance. Maintenance is good. I don't mind maintenance, but you need to let people know when it's coming, and they really didn't do that. So, yeah, there's other things you could have said, but you mentioned these two things, and I don't know why. PlayStation Now. Who the fuck uses PlayStation Now? Almost nobody uses that. It's irrelevant, because most people still own their older consoles and their older games. If they want to play those games, they can just play it on there. Not a big deal. And then PlayStation View, a video on demand service that is supposed to replace cable, when if you actually bother to look at the prices, it's actually cheaper than basic cable. $30 a month for the major channels that most people watch. That's a pretty good deal to me. But once again, it's irrelevant to the gaming side. So once again, I don't see why you mentioned that. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But that's actually the fitting theme for your video here, because a lot of what you said doesn't make sense. Now let's get into the juicy stuff. Let's get into the absolute insane stuff that you said in this video. You actually had the nerve to say that Sony is third-party central. That Sony is just third-party games with an exclusive sprinkled in here and there. The funny thing about that is that is literally the most accurate description of Xbox. Actually, not even that. They don't even have an exclusive sprinkled in here and there. They have no exclusives at all. None. Zero. Zilch. Zip. They have none. Sony, and this isn't an opinion, it is a fact. They have more exclusives than Xbox. They have always had more exclusives than Xbox because they own more gaming studios than Microsoft. I can't believe you actually had the nerve to say that. Because that is what Xbox is. It's just multiplats. That's it. And shared PC games. That is literally all Xbox is nowadays. And then you had the nerve to say that people in the media and a lot of other gamers, they kiss Sony's ass and, quote, they give Sony head. A very sexual description. I mean, I don't know why you had to describe it that way, but you did. But the hilarious thing about that is that you then immediately followed that up. You immediately followed that up with doing that exact same thing for Microsoft. Now, as you can see here, what it says in your video, play games, not companies. Because you claim you're not a fanboy. You claim you hate console wars. But what do you say about Microsoft in this video? Well, let's talk about that. You said, well, first off, you complained that Sony didn't really talk to their audience at E3. They just showed game trailer after game trailer after game trailer and some gameplay reveals, and that's it. They didn't really talk to their audience. Well, guess what, buddy? I don't need them to talk to me. I want to see games. I buy these consoles to play video games. So, they can show me games all fucking day, and that is perfectly fucking fine with me. And a lot of other people. I don't need a corporate head trying to relate to me and talk to me like they're just like me. I don't fucking need that. Now, maybe you people do, but I don't need that. So I'm fine with what Sony did. Because I want to see games. But you said that Microsoft interacted with the audience. Dude, all they did was bring people out on stage and they talked about the games coming up. They didn't go in the audience and talk to people. They didn't bring people on stage, so I don't see how they really interacted with the audience. Because, I mean, if that's considered audience interaction, then Sony did the same thing. Just not as much, but they still did it. And then you said that Microsoft spoke to the crowd with dignity and respect. And that Microsoft has a love and passion for their consumer base. You had the nerve to make fun of people for, quote, giving Sony head, when you literally just did that for Microsoft here. That Microsoft has love and passion for gamers? None of these fucking companies love us. None of these companies care about us. All they care about is our fucking money. That is all they care about. So for you, you have the nerve to say that you are not a fanboy. But then you just literally kissed Microsoft's ass. And you actually gave Microsoft head, in a way. Wow. Oh my god, wow. You did that. You actually did that. Oh my god. So, you also mentioned something else I thought was funny. You mentioned that there's a huge demand for backwards compatibility. Because, you know, Xbox One does backwards compatibility now. They're bringing original Xbox One games to their backwards compatibility. So backwards compatibility is a really big thing with Xbox right now. So, of course, you know, fanboys like this guy would try to push that and promote that. because you know that's the agenda. But he said there's a big demand for it. Well, buddy, let me ask you this: if there was such a huge demand for it, why aren't people trading in their PlayStation 4s and buying Xbox Ones? I mean, according to you, Xbox has more exclusives, they have more games, and they have backwards compatibility. And they, quote, love and care about us. So why aren't people doing that? Why aren't people getting rid of their PlayStation 4s and buying Xbox Ones? Or hell, why aren't people going out there and just buying Xbox Ones in general? I mean, if backwards compatibility was such a huge fucking deal, and since the PlayStation 4 doesn't have backwards compatibility, and they said they were never going to have it from day one, well then, why do people still buy PlayStation 4? You know what that tells me, buddy? And I have to explain this to you because, you know, you don't seem to have this logic that you claim you do. It's not that big of a fucking deal. Most people don't fucking care about it. They don't. Because once again, as I already stated, they still have their old systems. They still have their old games. If they want to play those games, they can just play them on those old systems. I still have my PS3 and 360. I can play games on those consoles. I don't need to have backwards compatibility on my newer consoles. It's not a big deal. And it's not a big deal to a lot of people. Stop pushing backwards compatibility like it's this huge game changer. Because the funny thing is, I don't remember Xbox fanboys saying that it was necessary when the Xbox One launched, because it didn't have it when it launched. Wasn't a big deal then. So yeah. I think that's about it for what's actually in the video. I just think it's funny that this guy claims he's not a fanboy. That we need to, as right here, play games, not companies. But yet, he is completely anti-Sony and pro-Microsoft. And has the nerve to bash other people for their supposed fanboyism. I just find that freaking hilarious. I also find it funny that in the video he complained that Sony ponies can dislike the video. Not a big deal. I don't care. Well, obviously you do care, buddy, because look. Likes and dislikes are disabled. Your subscriber number is invisible. And oh, look at this. Comments are disabled. Oh, do you need a save space, Mr. Xbox Justice Warrior? Do you need a save space? Sounds like you do. Because you're too much of a pussy to have your comments up. Now, I know they're up because when I first watched your video, you had your comments up. So what happened? What happened, buddy? I guess not enough people donated here? I mean, e-begging right here? I guess if people donate more, I guess you'll open up comments or something? And it's also funny that you got a video right here. It says, it's obviously you were triggered, because you know you Xbox Justice Warriors get triggered so easily. I'm an Xbox fanboy? Well, guess what? Eat a fucking dick. Eat a dick. And that's a very mature response for a supposed grown man who his son was in this video. You know, it's a way to set an example, buddy. Way to set an example. So, before I end the video, I just want to further expound upon why I think this guy's a big fanboy. And to be clear, I honestly respect people like Mooch and Crap Gamer and even JTech TV over people like this. And the reason I do is because at least those guys, they're upfront about they're upfront about their fanboyism. When you go watch their stuff, you already know what side they're on because they're proudly waving the colors of their brand. It is no secret what side they're on. But then you have assholes like BSHADOWS Gaming who pretend to be neutral, pretend to just be regular gamers who's tired of the console war and fanboyism, when in fact, they're a closet fanboy themselves. I just can't respect people like this because they're not honest. And I can't respect dishonesty. But before I end the video, I just want to further expound upon why this guy is a major Xbox fanboy. So we'll go back. We'll go back to his channel here. And we go to the featured channels here. Now, let's click See All. If it ever comes up. There we go. So let's look at the featured channels here. Now, first off, why do you got two other channels? I don't understand why people have multiple channels like this. I mean, unless you were doing different themes, like, one channel's for politics, one channel's for gaming. Okay, I can somewhat understand that, but these seem to be all gaming channels, so why the fuck do you have 2 other channels? Doesn't make any sense. But let's look at the channels here. Let's look at the channels here. Now, I don't know about some of these channels, like, right here, but there's a lot of Xbox fanboy channels here. Like, we got Next Gen 720, one of the king Xbots. Then you got K Mega, D-Batch, Xbot. There seems to be a lot of Xbox fanboy channels here. But dude, you said you hated fanboyism. You hated the console wars. So why the fuck do you promote fanboy channels? Oh, could it be? Could it be that you're a fanboy yourself and that's why you love these channels? Yeah, I think so. Because the proof is in the pudding right here. And, you know, now if you want it to be fair and go, well, I like all gaming themed channels. Like, here's some Sony channels, here's some Xbox channels, here's some Nintendo channels. Okay, you know, you got one Nintendo channel here. You got Nia the Video Gamer. You got one Nintendo channel here. I don't see any Sony channels. Don't really see any Sony channels here. I don't see any Sony fanboy channels. They're out there. You got JTech TV and the PlayStation Legion. I don't see any of them right here. Yeah, maybe it's just the fact that you're an Xbox fanboy who likes Xbox fanboy channels. Now, to further continue that, we go down here. You got a whole playlist on Sony hates their fan base. Yeah, you're very unbiased, aren't you, buddy? Very unbiased. Yeah, you're not a fanboy at all. You're just a normal gamer. Right. And then we'll go to your liked videos. Right here. You've got a bunch of Xbox fanboy channels here that you liked. Now, it isn't all Xbox fanboy channels, but you do have some fanboy channels here. Now, once again, why are you liking fanboy channels if you're not a fanboy? A true normal gamer wouldn't like anyone's fanboy video. And it doesn't matter what side they're on. Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony. It doesn't matter. A normal gamer isn't going to like a fanboy video. So yeah, you know, you don't seem to be the average normal gamer to me, buddy. You just don't. So I think your whole video was a crock of shit. Pretty much. So that is the end of my video. Please let me know what you think about this video. And if you want to go check out his video, the link is in the description. Watch it at your own risk. I am not going to be held responsible for any brain cells you lose. So, alright, that is it. And until next time, y'all have a good one.